The group asks Jin for the details on what they should do, but Jin interrupts and says that he has a plan, and brings the two close. They are shocked that he can even come up with such an idea, but unfortunately we don't get to know what was discussed. We are now escorted into the VIP section of the underground auction, and they begin the show, with slaves being the first product. Jin feels relief at the fact that there is no children slaves, and Murakami starts to get impatient, asking on when they should start the plan. Jin tells him to chill out, they need to observe a little bit longer and see if there's anything worth buying. Jin thinks about a ring artifact, and if he can trust his information, it should be rotting in storage, and he can steal it after completing his mission. The announcer gets excited and starts the official auction. 1 week passes and the auction is still going strong as bids are flying in left and right. Jet questions why Jin is still just sitting, not doing much, and he's worried that the testings might get suspicious. Jin just tells the man that it's his job to worry about such things. Jet starts to get annoyed about what's happening, but the auctioneer reveals the next item. A magic tome by Matthew Waniak, the mage who ruled over the world. No one has been able to decipher it. They are sure it contains great power. The bidding commences, but Jin is just annoyed. The guy's name is Matthew Morniak, not Waniak. These scammers have no shame. All of the real tomes are in Zitfell hands, and it's been a week since Jin has been reviewing all the items presented, and they all have been trash. All of these magician suckers fall for these scams. The next item is revealed, a tome by Tenemi, and the bidding starts at 50 gold, and quickly rises. Murakami touches Jin's shoulder, urging him to buy this item. If this tome is from who he thinks it is, it could be a big deal. Jin signals for 150, which shocks all of the bidders, and it's instantly sold at that price. Jin ponders on what could be inside of his new purchase, and sees Murakami's distressed face. Another magic tome is being offered from the author, Hister. Jin is perplexed. 2 tomes in a row, where Jin didn't recognize them from his past life. Jin starts the bidding at a whopping 200 gold, shocking the entire crowd. Murakami is confused on his actions, but Jin thinks to himself that he's surprised that he would find something like this here. This book is from his master from his previous life. He heard her clan fell hundreds of years ago, and to think he would find a tome, or even a trace of it here, is quite astonishing. It is sold for 200 and Jin removes his mask, thinking about returning it to his master, as a gift if they ever meet again. The group gets going and Murakami shifts through the tome that he made Jin buy, and he thinks that they hit the jackpot. This really is Senemi. But there's a weird encryption on the second book. Jin knows that only his master and himself have the ability to decode that book. Jet stands in the back, happy that Jin actually bought something, but Jin turns telling the man that he has to meet Spider-Hand Alu, sending shivers down Jet's spine. Jin tells Jet to send a message. Baradin Zitfell wants to see his face. Jet is ecstatic because he believes Jin is a pure-blooded Zitfell, and if he can do this task and get in the family's good graces, he can get out of this shithole. He races to the door, shouting the news, but as he opens it, he sees a dozen armed men. Some time passes and a man approaches Jin's party, telling him to follow. But Jin doesn't like being ordered around and whacks the guard in the face. The guy asks if Jin is crazy but turns to see him building up a fireball in his hand. Jin asks if the man is Alu, but it turns out that he isn't, and he screams in panic that he was only sent here to escort them. Jin sets the room ablaze and he revealed his name, yet the boss sends his underlings? He looks at the guard coldly and tells him, one last time, tell Alu to come into this room on all fours, crawling. Alu wastes no time and kneels in front of Jin, and what kind of crime boss is this? Like, how is he gonna come in here on all fours? That's crazy. He apologizes for failing to recognize the one who resides in the sky, above the earth, and begs for forgiveness. Jet thinks that if anyone else claimed to be Baradin Zitfell, he would have laughed. But Jin's aura is completely different. And I mean, he is Baradin's best friend, so close enough. The flame ball Jet just witnessed earlier was at least a 5-star mana spell, and only one man would be able to do that at this young of an age. We go back a week ago to when Jin explained his plan to Gilly and Murakami, that he will pretend to be Baradin. If Alu is connected with the Zitfells, it definitely isn't with Baradin, so no one will have proof that Jin isn't what he claims to be. Gilly is worried that their own family will find out and God knows what the Patriarch will do. But back to the present, Jin signals Alu to stand up, and he wants to take a look at the tomes he bought. Alu apologizes again that he sold magic texts without Zitfell permission. Jin says that these tomes were valued by the Zitfell family, and asks how much money Alu made selling them. The man quickly tries to cover it up, that he's just a martial artist, he doesn't know their value. He will bring all of the tomes back. Jin asks if the better idea would be for him to track and retrieve all the tomes himself. Why would he trust it to him? He tells the man to shut up and bring him the customer list. Their family will begin their investigation tomorrow. Alu is in a state of despair. This is the end for him. This little gang pales in comparison to the Zitfells, and if anything comes out, that doesn't align with the Zipfel's interest, it will be the end of Tessing. Alu shows Jin all of the customer list from the auction as well as all the items that were sold. Jin asks if there's anything else and is told that there is, in a warehouse that is heavily guarded. Alu says that he will retrieve it, but it will take 2 hours. Jin interrupts, asking what kind of bullshit Alu is trying to pull. He's going to destroy important documents while Jin isn't looking, and after that, check if Jin really is Baradin by poking around some people that he bribed. Jin tells him to go on and do what he wishes, but at the end of the day, he is still in the palm of Jin's hands. Alu clenches his teeth in anger and apologizes and says he'll be right back, and tells one of the men to guide Baradin around the storage area. But while he is gone, he whispers into the ear of his guard, telling him to keep an eye on the boy. He exits the room and can't control his anger. Who the hell does this boy think he is, acting all arrogant? He curses the Zipfels, and he spent so much money on them, and he swears to find a way to get it all back. We shift to Jin and Gilly in the storage area, rummaging through the contents, and they keep throwing shit around. A book hits the head of the guide, and Murakhan asks Jin what he plans to do by the time Alu comes back. He's gonna realize that Jin isn't Baradin. Jin just tells Murakhan that all they're doing right now is shopping for free, and leaving before that idiot even comes back. He opens a box and finds the ring that he's been looking for. Gilly grabs an expensive looking necklace, asking Jin if he plans to do reckless things like this all the time. It's quite shocking. Jet comes back telling the young master that he got what he requested. It's the account documents of the slaves. Chet wrote down all of the birth regions and ages. Jin goes towards the guide, telling him that he's done here. The guide tries to get Jin to stay, but Jin knocks his teeth out with a single punch. Chet is impressed with Jin's fighting skills, but is wondering why Baradin would beat up Alu's subordinate. Jin turns to Jet, asking if he has any family, and Jet says he has a son, but is shocked to hear Jin tell him to take his family and run to the Behemoth Empire. Jin tells him to give the accounts and introduce himself as a whistleblower. That's the only way he's gonna get out of this alive. Jet tries to stay by Jin's side. He's waited his whole life for a chance like this, and begs Jin to let him come with him and witness his great deeds. Jin breaks his delusion by saying that he's not Baradin, which shatters his whole dream, and we time skip to 2 hours later. And it seems Alu caught on, but his veins bulge. Alu tells his man to chase after them, but he has a moment of hesitation, and Alu grips this man's head, sending him into the wall. He had to take his anger out on someone, I guess. Alu yells for all his guards to catch those fraudulent bastards. He'll skin them himself. Jin's group sets up camp, and Murakhan asks why they're doing so much to mess with Alu's gang. Jin says that he needs to see if he's connected to the rune candles, and after this trip, he did get 2 rare tomes, and this OP ring. Even Murakhan recognizes what it is and questions how Jin even knew to look for it. Before he can continue, it seems the group has been found. Jin gets up seemingly expecting this and thinks to go have a short talk. Alu approaches, calling Jin a bitch, and did he really think he could get away with scamming the great Alu? He will hang Jin if it's the last thing that he does, and parade his head in the town. Jin just explains to Alu that he has the names of all the kidnapped slaves from the Behemoth Empire and the transaction ledgers with ancient grimoires that the Zipfels are currently looking for. And on top of that, a customer registry that lists everyone that he has sold to. He's spread copy of these throughout the entire world, and tomorrow, his empire will fall. Isn't magic mail convenient? This act enrages Alu even more, and he promises to give Jin a painful death. Jin tells Murakhan to take care of this bum, and he agrees, and Alu orders his men to begin attacking. They charge in at Murakhan, and the first man tries to slice him, but Murakhan swipes his hand, breaking the man's sword and his face. More bozos rush in, but Murakhan, without even moving, slaps them both unconscious. He starts to get annoyed, and he gathers his spiritual energy, and in a quick flurry of attacks, he one-shots all of Alu's men. The mages are stunned and stop their attack, and Alu himself is confused, but yells at his men to continue attacking. Jin tells Gilly to stand back. 3 mages prepare 3 different spells and hurl them at Jin, but he doesn't move, since they're below 5 stars. His pendant activates, shielding him from the blast. Gilly tells Jin that he better be thankful for Luna's gift. We shift back to Murakhan, enraged at these weaklings. All they have is numbers. What a pain in the ass. He gathers energy around himself, transforming into his true form. Alu's face turns pale, and he begins to laugh. He laughs and starts hacking down his own men. Jin wonders if this man has gone insane, and Murakhan tells Jin that he's dealt with all the small fry. Alu is for him to handle. Alu stands there demanding to know who sent Jin. Jin doesn't want to answer, since Alu is gonna die anyways. But before that, Alu sends an energy strike towards Jin that barely misses. Jin notices his speed, and the man says he won't be beaten one-sidedly. Murakhan laughs, and it seems Jin finally found a worthy opponent. It seems the rumors were true about Alu. He is a 7-star martial artist. Murakhan wishes Jin luck and tells him not to die, as the 2 men stare at each other. Alu curses Jin. How dare he come to the front line as a puny little mage? Are you looking down on me? Jin doesn't respond and draws his blade, intercepting Alu's strike, shocking him to see Jin use a sword. so he isn't a mage after all. Alu rushes in again and sends a wide slash at Jin, but the boy manages to block. The two send a barrage of strikes at each other. Jin ducks down to send a horizontal slash, but Alu vanishes. He appears behind Jin and slashes him, but Jin manages to step back, taking little damage from the blow. He knows Alu is fast and not fighting at full strength. This might be too much for him to handle. Alu yells at Jin, wondering if the spell he casted earlier was an artifact, and thinks that Jin isn't even the problem. But Murakhan is. He can't understand why he's just standing there. We shift to the man in question, smiling, watching Jin's battle. Gilly urges him to do something, but is told that this is the young master's wish. It might be a little too soon for him to stand up to a 7-star martial artist. And the way that Gilly's talking makes it seem like she expects Jin to lose. Back to the battle, Alu's swing takes Jin off guard, as his own sword is parried upward. The man screams that Jin is dead, charging in ready to kill him. Murakhan, however, just smiles. Long ago, rune candles used to fight as magical swordsmen, and a mere 2-star difference was nothing to them, as you see Jin cooking a fireball spell and unleashes it point blank in Alu's face, burning him up. He manages to survive the attack, and now understands Jin's actual skill set. We see Jin take off his cape and envelop himself in a lightning aura. He brings his blade high and plunges it into the ground. Summon lightning. Huge bolts strike the ground around Jin. Alu takes advantage of Jin's cast time and tries to strike, telling him that he will die if he leaves himself defenseless. But now Jin's hands begin to turn black as spiritual energy oozes from his body. Helmet, release. Alu tries to slash at Jin, but his blade is stopped, and is shocked to see Jin's new appearance. He now has a helmet made of spiritual energy, increasing his power. He slashes Alu and releases his new transformation. Jin's small cut turns into a giant gash as Alu drops to the floor. It's just as Murakhan suspected. This is Mwelta's rune, and it's explained that this was an object made for the Vehement Emperor, who was in love with a demon. During this time, war was ongoing, and this masterpiece blocked all attacks below 7 stars, and wonders how these thugs even ended up with it. This was the ring that Jin looked for in the storage room, and he thinks to himself that this object was supposed to be offered to the Emperor 6 years from now, and during that time, this item was a topic of all conversation, and many people fought over it. So Jin took note to remember where it was found. Jin looks over Alu's body, asking him one last thing before he dies. Do you have any ties with the Rune Candle family? Murakhan questions why Jin is asking this now while the man is dying, but Alu, with his last breath, just laughs. He knows now that this is Jin Rune Candle, but he's too young. He can't possibly stop that person. Jin can't get anything else as Alu dies. Spider Hands Alu, huh? Jin needs to look into that name. A 7-star martial artist and the boss of a gang that might have ties to the rune candles. Jin ponders on the situation, but Murakhan tells him that even a rune candle ancestor who was a 9 stars used to run a bar, so anything's possible. But Jin needs to learn the name of the person Alu was talking about. And he said that I failed. If Alu found out who he was on top of failing something, it might be connected to the Bladed Illusion curse, and must be the reason he also pointed out that he was the youngest, and can't stop that person. Must mean that he knows there's a fight for power between his siblings. Luna is immediately exempted, and it can't be Miu or Anne or the young twins, and the only person Jin can think of is the next heir, Joshua, and so we see a shot of this sly motherfucker. Jin vows to find out soon. He can't jump to any conclusions yet. The next day comes and Jin's actions are all over the news, and Tessings have been eliminated. People are shocked that an entire crime family were taken out in just a day. Jin reads the paper and thinks that Jet did a great job. Jin thinks that he did the right thing going to Behemen, but it won't be easy for him. But this is a small price to pay for his life. On paper, the Zipfels and Behemen took the glory, but Jin is the one who will reap all the rewards, in the form of artifacts that he stole, and he bested a 7-star knight in combat. Julie calls to Jin, telling him to be careful next time. Just because someone's a 7-star doesn't mean they're standard, and he shouldn't be carelessly fighting someone. Jin thinks that of course, a 7-star like Alu has nothing on someone real like Gilly, but he will take her advice for now, and thanks to Jet's efforts, no one will suspect them of a thing. Jin tells his group it's time to go to the next location, Tikan, the independent city, the location of the 7 colors. This is a large information house, and besides all of the major factions, it's the most reliable place to gather information. Murakhan asks if Jin plans to use all the bad guys like he did in this city, but the boy just laughs, saying that that's only one way of doing things. They board a ship on its way to Tikan, and moving forward, Jin needs to give a real purpose to Gilly and Murakhan, without revealing the fact that he has lived 2 lives. And on top of that, he needs to put the whole story together. There's too many things that Jin needs to look into, and the 7 colors might be the place where you can get some much needed clarity. We shift to Jin's cabin, and Murakhan tells him that he deciphered the magic in the book that they purchased, and it's light magic. Jin is surprised since he was told that it disappeared in ancient times, and Murakhan also believed that it did. But Tianemi was an enemy of the Zipfels, and every enemy of the Zipfels was erased from history. That is one of their traits. And that's the reason there's no records of this tome. Jin needs to break the limit of his energy to take control of the Ruined Candle family, so it's time to teach him some new tricks. Murakami rolls up his sleeve, excited to teach the young master something new. He harnesses energy into his palm, and Jin wonders why this light energy starts out black. But all of a sudden, a flash blinds Jin momentarily as Murakami bursts out laughing at the cheap trick that he just pulled. Jin grabs his eyes, but thinks he can use his skill, offensively and defensively. The skill is called Flashbang, and it was one of Tianemi's favorite spells. Murakami then grabs the other book, wondering who this Hister person is, and the coded system just pisses him off, and thinks that there's nothing useful inside. Jin just tells him to leave it, and one day they'll get someone to decipher it. 1 week later, the group arrives in Tikan, and Gilly is in awe of how pretty the place is. It's a city on a small island that isn't impacted much by the two big families. It has a low population, but is a tourist hotspot. The city is bustling, and Gilly wonders where they should go first. Murakami asks Jin if he plans to pick a shitty place to sleep again, and Jin just scolds the dragon for transforming in public. But as the two argue, a little girl noticed a black cat turn into a weird uncle, taking everyone off guard. Her eyes light up as she begs to be taught this trick. The girl continues to hound Jin about teaching her this cool new trick, but Jin just says he has no idea what she's even talking about, and since he bought her some ice cream, she should scurry off. Gilly wonders what they should do if rumors spread they could be caught. She thinks she could pretend to be the girl's mother, but Murakami tries to say that no one would believe her, but is met with Gilly's cold eyes. The girl continues to follow Jin and points out the information center, and talks in third person, saying she doesn't like the garrison. They always harass Mama. Gilly gets a bad feeling about this place, but Jin isn't too quick to trust this child. Her mother could be some sort of criminal. They go inside, and the guard immediately recognizes Julia and call to bring the leader. Jin asks how the guard knows this girl and is informed that she is the leader's daughter. Her mom walks out, but this chick does not look like no mommy, and Jin sees the information center's leader and can feel her aura. But breaking her awesome entrance is herself seeing her own daughter, and gets all gushy running towards her. The two hug, and the leader told her daughter not to run away. She has a lot of work to do and makes Julia promise not to do it again. Jin's group is just left speechless, and the leader introduces herself as Alicia Badger. Jin returns the greetings and says he's a tourist and asks if Alicia knows any place him and his party could stay. Before she can answer, Julia whispers something into her ear, and the leader quickly prepares a letter of recommendation with her seal on it, so Jin can go wherever he wants and be treated nicely. She thanks Jin for helping her daughter, and he goes his own way. The leader asks her daughter again as Jin is leaving if she is sure that the cat turned into a human. Julia says she saw it, but the group didn't want to talk about it, and that's all she knows. Alicia smiles and thinks, transformation, huh? That's something only a dragon can do. We shift back to our heroes, seemingly enjoying their stay at the local inn, and this is the power of the letter that they got. Gilly tells Jin that the food here in Tikan is famous, and she wants to go get some ice cream. Jin wonders why Gilly even asked him permission and just tells her to go, and Murakami asks Jin on how he plans on meeting the 7 colors. It won't be easy. His first task is to find a certain someone. The 7 colors has the best information that he can find, and at the center of that is a man called the Noble Sword, Kashmir. He's a famous swordsman, and he was recommended to teach in the Ruined Candle family. That's the information up until this point. But 10 years from now, he will reveal that he is actually the Emperor of Behemoth, and uses the 7 colors to regain his empire, and will eventually become the first king of the independent country of Tikan. He is a very meticulous person, not just proficient with the sword, but is also good at hiding his identity, and working from the shadows. Jin can use this man to his advantage. The only issue is how he's going to find him. Interrupting his thought, Gilly bursts back into the room. She says there is something strange going on. No one is in the building, and all the guests have disappeared. But all of a sudden, a man grabs Gilly on the shoulder. He needs to ask the group a couple of questions. And typical MC timing, the guy Jin is talking about just walks into his room. Murakami's veins bulge seeing this man even touch Gilly, but Jin remains calm, knowing who just appeared at the door. Murakami dashes in front of the man, sending his hand into the wall. He unleashes his killing intent. Jin yells at him to stop, but Murakami, dressed in spiritual energy, starts to resemble some sort of demon, asking what the man thinks he is doing. Jin tries to come up with a reason. He is meeting this man way too soon. They haven't done anything since arriving. Kashmir isn't alone. Jin yells for Murakami to calm down, and if he fights now, Gilly might get hurt. Murakhan's aura dissipates as he yells at this weird man, asking if he knows who he's messing with. Murakhan starts bashing the man for being so rude, coming to their door with all his lackeys with swords and all. Jin is just happy that the situation settled down. Murakhan continues questioning why the man is here and he came here so informally. Jin tells him to stop and approaches. He tells the man if they aren't under arrest to please put the sword down and come have a chat. Jin is aware of this man's identity and introduces himself as Jin Runecandle, surprising Gilly and Murakhan. Some time passes and the party relocates to talk with Kashmir. Jin noticed that he dismissed his soldiers, so he's beginning to trust him. Kashmir brought soldiers due to a report that there was a dragon, but bringing more men seemed to make the dragon even more mad, and Kashmir is certain that Murakhan is in fact a dragon. His aura isn't human-like. If Jin didn't calm him down, everyone would have died. Kashmir also knows of Gilly from his days in the Behement Palace, and she was a high-ranking official in the army. And damn, we got some cool Gilly backstory, I'm with it. But still, Kashmir can't sense any aura from Gilly. The man begins to speak, having some questions for this so-called Jin Runecandle. Why are you with the dragon? Usually dragons ally and make contracts, not with the Runecandle, but as it fell. Is your family aware of this contract? Jin answers honestly that his family doesn't know, and Kashmir says if Jin's family were to find out, the consequences would be grave, and could cost him his life. But Kashmir isn't a Runecandle, and doesn't stand to gain anything from telling them. Jin asks why Kashmir wanted to meet a dragon, and since Jin told him his secret, it's time for him to reveal his. Julia is actually his daughter, and she saw Murakhan transform. And Julia isn't just an ordinary child, but a contractor of Azmil, the god of sight, and because of her power, there is no way she could have mistaken the situation. Murakhan smells something fishy and slams a hand on the table. If Julia's a contractor, then where is her dragon? He doesn't feel any aura anywhere. Azmil's dragons are known for treasuring their contractors, yet this child is alone. Something's off. Kashmir says that Murakhan is right. A while back, her dragon disappeared, and he suspects the Zipfel or Behement Empire might have something to do with it. Murakhan continues to be skeptical, and no way a dragon would just be captured. Murakhan begins to think about it and asks if the dragon disappeared a year ago, and his daughter is 5 years old, correct? That means if the kid is a contractor, and the dragon isn't near her in this age, Kashmir's daughter will soon go insane and become disabled. This news doesn't sit well with Kashmir as we see a flashback of his daughter gaining her powers. Azmil's contractors can see the future, but this future takes a big toll on the dragon's mentality. Right now, she is too young to differentiate between what's real and what's a dream. But if she continues down this path, her eyes will become uncontrollable. Jin is now interested, asking Murakhan to continue. He says that the ones who can see the future must always follow what they see, and the moment they don't, Azmil's punishment will start. If someone sees the future of their own death, they cannot interfere, but those who do end up being destroyed. And ever since Julia got these powers, she has been different from normal people. Kashmir grits his teeth as Murakhan tells him he needs to find this dragon as soon as possible. The man gets on his knees, revealing that he is the leader of the 7 colors, but even with his influence, he wasn't able to find his daughter's dragon. Murakhan sighs, and he is certain now meeting with Julia wasn't a coincidence. Azmil is requesting Murakhan's help to save his young contractor. Kashmir begs for Murakhan to help, but he says it's not up to him, it's up to his leader. Jin approaches, telling Kashmir that although their relationship has only just started, this is a matter of life and death for an innocent child. Let's be rational and look for Julia's dragon together. Kashmir bows his head, thanking Jin for this kindness, but Jin thinks to himself that this situation couldn't have turned out any better. If the 7 colors weren't able to find anything out, it is possible that one of the major families knows something. Murakhan asks if Tikan is related to Zipfel, but is told that it isn't. The dragon tells Kashmir that he should have info on dragons in general, and is told that the 7 colors knows the locations of dragons along the continents. Murakhan tells Kashmir to give him all this information, and specifically which dragons are in the Behement Empire. Jin is concerned on what his dragon is thinking, but Murakhan looks excited. Some time passes and we're introduced to a new character, Miss Quicantel. There is news about Jin again, and it's pretty amazing. He's already 5 stars. The girl tells Anya that she's also a god contractor and should act like it. Instead of Murakhan, her contractor is Ulta, the god of time. But as she flicks through her pages, she feels a menacing aura and tells Anya to go home and not to come out. The black dragon has come. Is seen flying at top speed, telling Jin that they're almost there. As he gets closer, the other dragons will show themselves. He tells Jin to hide and not to get caught. Murakhan stops in the center of the sea, unleashing his aura, and we flash back to the meeting. Murakhan received a list of active dragons in Behement. He reads it, surprised on the ones hiding out there. But he reads 2 names, the Earth and Silver Dragon. He says that this will work out and tells Jin that it might be a little dangerous, but they're gonna have to go a long way. Before they leave, Kashmir calls out to Murakhan as a mighty dragon, which makes him blush. He yells at Kashmir to use his name instead. The man bows and thanks the two for helping him save his daughter. But before he leaves, Murakhan will say two more things. First, Kashmir must tire out her daughter daily to reduce the power of Oz Mills. And the second thing is that he owes an ice cream to Gilly, since she wasn't able to get some because of him. Gilly is surprised as Murakhan gives her a little wink, and he'll do anything for his strawberry pie. We go back to the present, and Jin thinks that his dragon is quite considerate. The two dragons are approaching Labus and Untiel. It seems they're itching for a fight. Jin puts on his mask, asking Murakhan why these dragons hate him so much. But back in the day, Murakhan would whoop anyone that stepped into his territory. The Earth Dragons call out to Murakhan asking why he's here, but Murakhan just says that he woke up from his sleep and has something to do. He needs help. The two Earth Dragons look at each other and they seem worried, but tell Murakhan that they don't want any trouble. They have their contractors nearby. They don't want to fight over the sea. They tell Murakhan to go back, but the Black Dragon is furious, being asked to retreat. The entire sky is his territory. The Earth Dragon starts to freak out, telling him to run away. The energy he spread is causing chaos. Quikantel is flying over here right now. Murakhan finally understands, and Jin is just confused on everything going on right now. He asks Murakhan his connection to the Silver Dragon, and is informed that it's his ex-girlfriend. What the fuck is going on right now? The two Earth Dragons plead for Murakhan to leave, and the other dragons don't know he's awake yet. Please, go back. But before they can say any more, a beam is fired out of the sky. The two Earth Dragons run away, not wanting any smoke, and Jin and his dragon look back on the destruction caused. Another blast is coming as the Silver Dragon sends another beam at Murakhan. He flies past it, and Jin thinks about that skill. It's about 8 stars. Just how many times can this beast use it? The Silver Dragon yells out for Murakhan, and she calls him a bastard. How dare he show his face around here? Jin wonders if they have to fight her, but Murakhan thinks that they do. The relationship lasted 500 years, and tells Jin to stab her with Bradamante when he can. Jin is just confused, and isn't this going far for an ex? Jin doesn't know the full story, and Murakhan doesn't mate with dragons weaker than him. The Silver Dragon lands in her true form, telling him it's too late to run away. She will kill him right here, right now. Murakhan tries to tell her to calm down, and he only came here to talk. But the Silver Dragon doesn't seem to be in the mood, and charges another beam. Murakhan tries to dodge, but is hit dead on. The Silver Dragon continues her assault, trying to bite Murakhan's neck. He backs off, thinking why she is so pissed. He sees another beam attack, and almost from point range. He just wonders why she is so pissed off, and backs off to see her charging another beam attack, almost from point blank range. She lets it off, light flashes, but the Black Dragon is unscathed, and a huge black ball is formed behind Murakhan. He's just buying some time. Shin is on the ride for his life, and one hit of that beam would kill him. Right now, the Silver Dragon can't enter the sphere. They need to find a way to calm her down. But, however, the sphere disperses, and the Silver Dragon mocks Murakhan for becoming weak. She is not the same as she was before. Murakhan again tries to talk, and he only came here to ask something, for old time's sake. But just hearing these words further infuriate the Lady Dragon, as she clenches her fist, promising to tear Murakhan apart. The two engage again, but Murakhan bites her wing, telling her to calm down. She shouldn't be this mad because they broke up. Broke up? This is why she's attacking him right now. And as she says this, Jin is signaled to attack. He leaps from Murakhan's back and descends. He notes that the Silver Dragon's scales are hard enough to resist Murakhan's bite. Stabbing her will be difficult, but just a little opening is enough for Jin to finish this, as he gathers shadow energy into his blade. He casts Shadow Energy Release, striking the area that Murakhan bit. The strike causes the dragon to screech out in pain. The spiritual energy erupts. Jin slashes his sword down, removing the arm and wing of the Silver Dragon in one blow. Murakhan sees Jin fall into the water. Concerned, he flies down to catch him, happy on how good he just did. Jin is completely out of energy and exhausted. He wonders when the hell he became a dragon slayer, but Murakhan says hopefully she's calmed down, which makes Jin even more concerned. Dragons who control time can't die that easily, as Jin turns to see the dragon completely healed. It seems this duo might die before getting a chance to find their missing dragon. Time begins to turn back as we see the Silver Dragon's wing seemingly regenerate. Jin asks Murakhan if her ability is rewinding time. Murakhan doesn't get into the specifics of this broken ass skill, but lets Jin know that it takes up a lot of energy. Quikantel reverts to her human form, and Murakhan asks if she's calmed down. He doesn't know why she's so angry. Didn't they break up on good terms? Quicantel begins to yell again. Good terms? You dumped me out of nowhere, and didn't even give me a chance to talk about it. Jin just sits here and listens, wondering if this is really a conversation between two ancient dragons. Murakami wants to ask something, but is interrupted. Quicantel asks if this is Solderet's contractor. Murakami tells her that that's not important right now. One of their own is in grave danger. The Silver Dragon isn't amused since Murakami has killed many of his own kind back in the day, so why is he trying to help out now? And in that list is an enemy of Quicantel's family, someone Murakami killed only for her. He turns to leave, disappointed on what's going on, and it's his fault for even trying to ask her for help. But this little bait and switch works, and now the Silver Dragon is interested. She apologizes for how she acted, and Murakami explains that one of Osmiel's dragons went missing, and Quicantel instantly knows which one. Tyken's Latri. And it is explained that the dragon was taken by Voleta, the wind dragon, guardian of Melzir, the god of wind, and a god that is aligned with the vice head of the Zitfel family, Andre. Quicantel says she thought Voleta wanted to teach Latri dragon magic. Murakami wants to go somewhere more private to continue this conversation, and Quicantel offers to guide the two to her house. And now we see the three sitting around a table, and Jin introduces himself as Solderet's contractor, and descendant of Tamar. The Silver Dragon notes that Jin does give the same aura as Tamar. She knows because she was around him a lot 1,000 years ago. They get to the main topic, and Voleta took the guardian dragon a year ago. Murakami tells the consequences of not getting this dragon back and the fate of the young contractor. This is something Voleta should know as well. This means the Zitfels are up to something. Quicantel was suspicious, but after hearing a conversation she had with Voleta, he seemed obsessed with god contractors and wanted to meet hers repeatedly. In her anger, she revealed the identity of her own contractor, and now she has to protect her. Jin says that as of right now, Osmiel's contractor hasn't been revealed, and it's weird for them to orchestrate this whole ordeal. Contractors can only be revealed when they summon their authority, and the Zitfels might be planning to erase god contractors from other countries. Jin says that there might be an ulterior motive, because if they can kill the contractors, it gives them the opportunity to make a contract with the same god. And for these mages, it might not be a chance, but a certain method. Jin thinks in his past life that 10 years from now, the contractor of Ulta was a pure-blooded Zitfel. So this is how they've been getting all the dragons on their side, and why Julia's dragon has been kidnapped. Although Jin hasn't heard of Julia in his past life, Quicantel doesn't understand why Zitfel would want all of these contractors. But Jin interrupts, saying that she doesn't even believe her own words. Human greed has no end. Even if they reach the pinnacle of their ability, they will always desire more. This family has been in power for thousands of years, and this way of thinking isn't strange. Jin is certain that they are planning something, and doesn't understand why Quicantel is still sitting idly by. Are you scared of the Zitfels? Murakami stands up, trying to calm the girl down, saying that Jin is saying the right thing. But Quicantel just laughs. She notes that Murakami has changed a lot and agrees to help. But first things first, she's gonna send her own contractor into hiding. They need to see Voleta and find out the truth. What Jin says does have merit and is worth looking into. And since Jin reminds her of Tamar, she owes him that much. He reminds her of the old days. Even Jin's cockiness reminds her of him. All of a sudden, Anya bursts into the room despite her warning not to come outside. Quicantel introduces her as the god contractor, and Jin returns the greeting. Anya bursts out in shock, and this is the young master Jin. She starts fangirling and even asks for his autograph. The Silver Dragon just wonders where Anya's pride is as a contractor, but the girl just bows. She got startled after seeing Jin. She has only read about him. Jin just laughs this off, but wonders if this girl is talented or not. Quicantel scolds the girl for leaving the house, and she didn't listen. Jin looks at the two's relationship, trying to put it together. The girl is an academy scholarship student, and being with the Behemoth nobility, she must be bullied constantly. This is the same reason why Jin didn't bother with them in his past life. He tells the girl the reason why he is here, and it's because someone might be after her, and asks the girl to come with him, but all romantic-like. Anya gets all red, and this must be the best day of her life. Protect me? She puts her hands in the air, saying her prayers have been answered. Everyone is cringing, but the girl says she will gladly go with him. Praise the god of time, she says. Quicantel smacks her on the back of the head and knocks her out. She was worried that maybe she wouldn't want to go, but she once even said that she would follow Jin to the Rune Candle's basement prison, so this was bound to happen. Jin doesn't recall a basement prison, but Quicantel says that there's a dragon down there. No need to pretend he doesn't know. The Silver Dragon tells Jin that there are reasons she wants to help him, and the biggest one being Murakami. He doesn't know how weak he has gotten. She didn't say it, but he stands no chance against Voleta. Jin wonders how strong this wind dragon is, but is told that it's not about how strong he is, but it's about how weak Murakami has become. He would have been a joke to Murakami 1,000 years ago. She changed the subject, telling Jin that he and his dragon can stay here until Voleta comes. Jin happily agrees and thinks that the Silver Dragon is quite thoughtful. Quicantel tells Jin that in 10 seconds Anya will wake up, and wants him to explain the situation. Jin wonders how she can wake up that fast. She got whacked pretty hard, but like clockwork, her eyes open. Young Master Jin is her first words as she crawls up like a zombie, but the two sit around the table. As Jin tries to explain the situation, Anya asks when they're leaving, and she is ready whenever. Her only family member is a 7-year-old brother. Jin likes her eagerness, and Anya is told to go start preparing. She does so, leaving Jin in Quicanto, but a knock is heard at the door. Someone is asking for firewood. Quicanto sighs, ready to get the door, but Jin isn't so gullible to believe this. He summons his mask and assumes the person at the door is someone from the Behemoth's special operation, and because of Anya, they are watching this place. They want to confirm the outsiders that are inside. Quicantel understands and is enraged on what these humans are doing. She opens the door, immediately grabbing the man by the neck, asking who sent him. As the man is being choked out, a shady figure appears from behind. He is the mastermind, he says, and asks Quicantel to release her grip. If she kills him, the special forces will be after her. She releases the man and thinks that this is the commander, and wasting no time, she rushes in, ready to strike him. The punch sends shockwaves throughout the entire house, but the man stands there, unfazed, asking if she got to blow off some steam. Jin is shocked. He took that head on and is completely fine. This isn't an ordinary man. The red mask is only given to leaders within the division. Jin also noticed the curved sword. There's only one man that matches this description, the Emperor's right hand, codename Raz. Even rune candles praise this man's swordsmanship. By now, he's most likely 8 stars. Jin is happy that he is protected by Muelta's rune. Quicantel says that Raz is pretty good and the man apologizes, but they had to confirm the identity of her guests, and since they did, he will leave now. Quicantel laughs. Does he really think he can invade her space and leave? How arrogant. But the man tells her that Anya left just now. Isn't it dangerous for her to be out by herself? If they fight right now, something might happen to poor little Anya. The dragon just got bitched out, and the man says he will take his leave. But Quicantel turns, unleashing her aura. Next time, Raz should be prepared to lose everything because of what happened today. The man leaves and walks with his comrade. They need to find out the true identity of the smugglers, and tells the man that starting now, observation on the silver dragon is postponed. His comrade asks if that's the right idea. They need to watch her now more than ever. But Raz doesn't want to provoke the dragon anymore, and he will take the responsibility, so he orders his men to pull out. He can't let them get into any more danger. We shift back to our hero and Quicantel slams the desk. She blames herself for not realizing she's been watched this entire time, and Anya was in constant danger. Jin tells her not to worry about it, and now their priority is Anya's safety. They need to move tomorrow. We shift to the next morning and Jin and Quicantel overlook a merchant ship heading to Tikan. He tells her not to worry, he paid the captain a good amount of gold to take care of Anya. And on top of that, Murakhan is her escort. Quicantel is relieved and says she will not contact Valletta. We time skip to about a week later and Murakhan returns and Jin greets him. Murakhan gets a little emotional looking at a house that he and Quicantel built together, and now she is making them stay there. Jin just jokes around, asking if Murakhan caught some more feelings. He tries to decline, but the happy memories of his past flood in. The days they spent together, him, Tamar, and Quicantel. It was fun back then. It was fun, right? But the memories turn black and Murakhan bashes his head into the wood. Jin wants to know what's wrong, but Murakhan doesn't know. Quicantel appears, saying the black dragon sure is weak. You sure you're not tired from flying all this way? Hurry up and get inside. Valletta replied, and they have a meeting spot on a deserted island, south of the Behemoth coast. Jin asks what the plan is, but Quicantel seems to want to ask straight up if he knows where Latri is, and if he plays dumb, Quicantel will beat his ass. Murakhan smiles and offers his help, but Quicantel declines. She doesn't need him. This enrages Murakhan. He doesn't need sympathy from his ex. She says this isn't what it's about. It's about her honor as a dragon. It's not like she plans to lose. She smiles and tells Murakhan to take it easy. Jin thinks to himself that he doesn't really think the dragon will come alone, and if he really did capture Latri, they will come fully prepared. We shift to this meeting as Quicantel sees Valletta and Aura. The dragon lands with Andre on board. The man jumps down, saying what a pleasure it is to meet the Dragon of Time. He introduces himself as Andre Zitfel. Quicantel gets angry, telling Valletta that he said he would come by himself. But the Wind Dragon says that Andre was always by his side, even at the time of his invitation, and it just so happened it piqued his interest. Quicantel isn't amused and gets to the main point. Where is Latri? Valletta starts laughing, but Quicantel isn't amused, demanding her question to be answered. He took the dragon a year ago, and now the Osmil's contractor is without her guardian. Valletta smirks, but doesn't know what answer to give. Latri is, how you say, doing well. Is enraged from these jokes, but Valletta warns her not to interfere with the matters of Zitfel. The two dragons begin to become hostile, and it seems there's only one way to settle this. Valletta summons 2 tornadoes around Quicantel, and he has one final offer for her. Hand over her contractor, and she will be allowed to live. And now the true intentions are revealed. Quicantel mocks the Wind Dragon, calling him an old lizard. The fight begins as the tornadoes converge on the Silver Dragon's position. She transforms into her true form, demanding to have Elatri now. Andre is laughing hysterically to think she could brush off Valletta's attacks so easily. Now he can give it his all. He puts up his staff, Mana Unleashed. Jin watches and knows that Andre is a 9-star mage. This is the first time seeing one. Andre Zipfel is a high-ranking member, and he has to wait and see his level. He casts a spell and Kukanto wants to dodge, but all of a sudden, she can't fly. The beam hits her in the stomach, and now the wind has turned against her, and all the wind on this island belongs to Valletta, as he soars in the air. No one can fly without his permission. Valletta charges a beam, and Quicantel is concerned on her situation. Andre doesn't sit idly by and charges a spell, promising to end this dragon. They do a combo spell, Raging Thunder, and Jin is worried, asking Murakhan to intervene. But he tells him not to worry, his girl's got this. These fools were too confident. Quicantel prepares her own spell, and time stops. She takes a deep breath, and Andre is loving this display. Magic that can control time. It's been so long since he was this impressed. But the Silver Dragon promises to end him and Valletta right now. Andre calls for his dragon but gets no answer, and his body is completely frozen. This must be the power of the Silver Dragon. Quicantel dashes in on the helpless Valletta and grabs him by the tail, throwing him into the ground. Quicantel continues her assault, landing right on the helpless dragon, and begins biting his limbs off. Andre is enraged, trying to help his dragon. Andre begs for her to stop, but he is told to shut up and watch. Quicantel thinks to herself that she handled Valletta, but used too much power. She needs Jin and Murakhan to handle that mage. Andre won't sit idly by and grabs a mysterious egg from his pouch. Such arrogance, he says. Murakhan knows what this is, an origin stone, and he starts to sweat, thinking they should have destroyed them already. Jin notices his concern, as behind Andre stands a black, serpent-like monster. It opens its mouth and yells, stunning everyone. Andre laughs. You thought you were the strongest as the Silver Dragon? You're mistaken. Humans, gods, dragons, all will fall into Zipfel hands. Just accept it already. He unleashes his monster, which instantly strikes the Silver Dragon. We get some info on the origin stone, and when the world was in danger, God gifted it to the world. This stone was meant to prevent the end of everything. After the danger passed, this power was destroyed by the gods who created it, because it was too powerful, and it had the power to destroy the world. How is it now in Andre's hands? Murakhan gets out of his cover, worried about his girl. She grips her side, as the black energy oozes from her wound. Andre laughs. This is what happened when the weak face the strong, but is shocked to see Murakhan transform into his dragon form. Andre instantly knows who this is, and asks how his 1,000-year slumber was, and also assumes that next to him is his contractor. Ah, long time no see, Jin. It seems that now he can go home with 2 contractors. How lovely. But now, to be fair, he needs to wake up his friend. The serpent creature slithers close and utters an ancient language. Instantly, black energy fills Valletta, and the dragon rises again. Andre apologizes to his old friend. He thought he was really dead. Murakhan sees Valletta and the two engage. Murakhan tells this corpse to fuck off, but it seems Valletta has been charged up, as he prepares a blast to Murakhan point blank. The two fight back and forth, but Murakhan's weakness is showing. Valletta laughs and tells Murakhan to rejoice. Today is the day that the legend dies. Quicantel and Andre stare at each other, ready to continue their fight. Andre was planning to go easy, but he now thinks that he should end this. But in the corner of his eye, he spots Jin, flanking him. Jin prepares a spell that makes Andre laugh, but this is the light spell. Flashbang. Andre is taken off guard and Jin follows up with a sword slash. Valletta rushes in to protect Andre and smacks Jin. Murakhan tells him to dodge, but it's too late and he's hit by the dragon's tail, sending him into a nearby wall. He gets up injured from the strike and has no time to think, as the serpent monster rushes in at him, alongside a blast from Valletta. Jin grabs his pendant, ripping it from his neck, and slams it into the ground. And in an instant, Luna is summoned to his location. She arrives, sword in hand. What did you get yourself into, younger brother? And what an entrance. Can I get a like and sub for Big Sis Luna? Like, holy shit, she's so cool. We shift to right before Jin launched his attack, and there's only one thing that he can do at his current strength. But before he got the opportunity to cut Andre again, he was sent into the wall. Luna now stands facing Andre, and he's taken aback by her arrival. She turns, telling Jin that he did well holding up against these enemies, and asks if he's injured. Jin lets off a soft smile, saying that he tried his best, and thanks his sister for coming. Luna is now enraged seeing her brother beaten like this, and curses Andre. She wants an explanation on why he is fighting Jin. Luna is now facing a 9-star mage, a wind dragon revived with god power, and an artifact. But Luna stands unfazed. Murakami grabs Jin, telling him that he has a good sister. Kukantel is there as well, injured from the blast. This is really an unexpected turn of events. Now that she is here, it confirms it. The rune candles broke the pack with the Zipfels. Luna, your brother, used magic. We won't overlook this. Luna just smiles. Is that so? Well, it's convenient since you're not leaving this island to tell the news. As she raises her humongous sword, Andre feels her pressure, but orders his artifact in to attack. The beast tries to bite her, but is erased in one slash. All the Zipfels she has ever met have all been talk. It seems the Vice Head is no different. Luna rushes in, and with a flurry, she slices the Wind Dragon, causing him to revert to his human form. Andre calls to Valletta, and he pulls a weapon out of the wind. Andre grabs a heart-looking object, and the two fuse their weapons into a swirl of red and green. The revived dragon has a black aura, and Luna thinks that this feels similar to demonic energy. Luna thinks the only reason they're going all out is to stall for time. He managed to use an artifact, but he can't control it right, so Andre needs to rely on a weak dragon. Do you think that measly weapon can save you? Valletta lunges in with his new huge spear, but Luna evades. He curses the rune candle, but Luna starts her assault, sending strike after strike at Valletta. The two clash back and forth, causing the weather around the island to change. Luna strikes hard, causing Valletta's weapon to stagger back, and in this moment he is struck in the stomach, causing him to kneel in pain. This is the end, the dragon. You're out of tricks, but I'll end this quickly. She raises her sword and does the rune candle third finishing move. A light shoots into the sky, piercing the clouds. Luna's face is covered by her immense aura. She brings her sword down on Andre and Valletta. Meteor shower. We shift back to Zed saying that if he had to describe the family's swordsmanship, it would be one word: domination. There is no method that doesn't exist for rune candles. Their only goal is to kill their enemy. We shift back to Jin, and this is the first time in the story that he's completely in awe of what he is seeing. The secret technique and finishing move, meteor shower. He looks at the streaks of light falling from the sky. It's beautiful. Andre looks at these comets falling on him, and Jin thinks that this attack is hopelessly strong. Before it can hit the mage, Valletta goes into his dragon form, protecting him, telling him to get a hold of himself. But the man is in a state of utter despair. How is this possible? This isn't the power of a god or an artifact, but just raw strength, as an image of Luna sends fear into his eyes. How is this possible? Valletta screams, causing Andre to regain himself. His dragon says that he will die protecting him, and there's still a chance. The Devil's Stone can turn this around. Andre grips the stone, and as long as he has this, he won't die. Luna looks over the destruction that she caused, thinking that she's still far away from her father. But still, he will acknowledge her strength. And if Luna can't overtake him, then Jin will. But emerging from the shadows is Andre, completely transformed into a demon. Luna looks at this creature, not impressed. She wants to get this over with. The beast begins to speak in an unknown language and fires up its aura. And now Murakami understands the situation. The Zipfels used contractors to make origin stones, a weapon that can be used against the gods. This one happened to be poor quality, but it's still dangerous. Murakami transforms, telling Jin that it's time to go. Jin tries to protest that he can't leave Luna by herself, but Murakami tells him that at their current strength, they're only going to be in the way. They need to retreat. Jin grits his teeth, made this contract. He met Murakami and started his life with the most luck and power, but look now, he's forced to run away and can't do a single thing. This is the last time he ever wants to feel this powerless. Aura starts to surround Jin. Murakami looks, knowing that Jin isn't scared, and even though he doesn't agree, he is proud of Jin's fighting spirit. If he can continue like this, he will become the best. And until then, Murakami will support him. Aura swirls around Jin, and we shift to Luna, looking at this demon. It points its finger at Luna, taking her off guard, but in a split second, a huge beam is fired, creating massive destruction. Luna managed to block the strike, and the demon Andre laughs. Now all the 12 gods are on his side. What do you have? Nothing but a big sword, too large for you. Surrender now, cause even if Siren is here, he couldn't hope to match me. Luna isn't amused and brings her large sword close. If Andre spent his life cultivating magic, he will be able to see her technique, and she will show it to him out of sympathy. She will show him her honed sword. Her sword sparks with red energy, causing Andre to panic slightly, but he is still confident. He is a god now. He prepares a ball of demonic energy, telling Luna to come have a taste. He will show this bitch just how powerless she is. But with one strike, heart sword red moon, the demon is seemingly cut in two.